If you reduce the music a little bit. Good afternoon, viewers. Good afternoon, viewers. We are here to preview Cameroon versus Morocco, second quarterfinals. The first quarterfinals, I think we missed the prediction, the score. However, we all predicted that Senegal was going to win. How did you see that game, especially the officiation? I did not watch the game, but I saw that Mali actually was given a red card, Bissouma, for two offensive fouls. I think it was soft. What about
No,
you?
no, they were red cards. They were red cards. Sorry, they were yellow cards. It was a red card. Bissouma, as always, very indisciplined. What a shame. What a disgrace for his country. You know, as a captain, he should have known. He should have known that. I know it's embarrassing and players react when they get checked by their opponents. But come on, why put your hand in his face? And then the second tackle, you're already on a yellow card. Why are you going in so hard on the player's heel? It was a second yellow card and a sending off. It was a shame for Mali. In terms of the officiating, yes, I think Mali had a penalty. It was a clear penalty. Why it wasn't given, the tackle by Koulibaly, why it wasn't given, and why VAR doesn't intervene is inexplainable for me. That was a penalty to Mali. So, but at the end of the day, Senegal had more chances, the better chances. They were most likely going to win the game either way. So,
Are you,
I
are you
think the
talking about
favorites went through.
Are you talking about the incident in the first half where Koulibaly went down and
Yeah,
I,
that,
well, in my
that
opinion, I think that was not a penalty.
that's a penalty. Go and look again. Go and look again. I've watched videos. I've listened to analysts. It's a pen. It's a pen. He kicked him. He tripped him. He tripped him. It's a pen. But either way, it's gone, and that's one of the issues we have to be careful with. Cameroonian players, they should understand that the referee will be under pressure. They should understand that they are playing away. If there is anything that I'm worried about Cameroon in this game against Morocco, it's refereeing decisions and the fact that Cameroon could easily pick up a red card if they are not careful. Because those decisions, those ones that are just on the fence, will always go to the home team with the crowd. And one of those decisions could be costly. So we need to be very careful, especially someone like Baleba who is on a yellow card. This is where that funny yellow card in the last game where he had an injury and that situation wasn't managed appropriately. He picked up a yellow. If he picks up another yellow, that's it. No semi-finals. So, you know, he's walking a very fine line. And it might be that because of that yellow card, he goes all out today. It's not uncommon for Baleba to pick up a red card. He is one of those I'm worried about, who gets really excited about things and can get carried away easily. But apart from that, it's a good thing that he is in.
Okay, so let's actually get into, because we're 20 minutes, 18 minutes to be exact, out of the game. We saw the lineup. The lineup is actually almost what we did predict yesterday, apart from the fact that Baleba has recovered actually from injury, and so Baleba actually starts in that middle. Now, talking about the approach, I know we talked a little bit how Cameroon should not start the game, which is slow, as they did against South Africa, because now you're playing against a team that's very, very experienced and that has some good finishes, and a team that has been scoring goals, tons of them. El Kabi has scored 3 goals. We have Diaz, who has also scored 4 goals. So there are a lot of players that can actually score, that can finish in this Moroccan team. And also, we talked about free kicks. Hakimi is also back. In your opinion, how should Cameroon actually approach the game, or tactically, how should they start this game?
I think, like I said, this is a bit easier for Cameroon in terms of managing the start of the game because Morocco doesn't change their system. It's a 4-3-3 system. Obviously, movements can change tactically, but in terms of the setup, it's been the same thing from day one. So I think Cameroon can start their game with confidence that this team plays similarly to Ivory Coast. The only difference being the players and the skill set of the players. I think one thing that might work in favor for Cameroon today and in favor also for Morocco, it depends how Cameroon uses it, is the fact that Morocco is actually under pressure. Whilst it's a home game for them, the Moroccan national side has come under a lot of criticism about how they have played in this tournament, because they struggled against Mali and they struggled even more against Tanzania. So the media back in Morocco is not happy with the performance of the team. And I must tell you that Redraghi, just like we have struggled in Cameroon, Redraghi is not a very popular character in terms of the fans. And whether he should actually be the manager of their national side. So there is pressure within that team, and that could work in Cameroon's advantage. But that said, we know that playing at home is their advantage, but then Cameroon can actually use that in their own favor.
I think talking about Regragui, he was actually heavily criticized for not including some of the young stars that actually won the under 20 World Cup. However, we all know how he came to Morocco. It was just before the World Cup. When he actually went to Morocco, no one actually expected him to do good. He came out fine. However, the way Morocco has played in this African Cup of Nations has not been convincing, as we have earlier said. But looking at that right-hand side of Morocco, where you have Hakimi, El Kanouch, and maybe Diaz, okay, because Diaz actually floats. He has that free roll. Sometimes he comes in the middle and then he goes out. And that's where actually Nagida plays. Talking about Nagida, I like him because of his offensive duties. Defensively, he has not got enough stamina to go back and forth, and he's a little bit lightweight defensively. So, what do you talk about? What can you say about that matchup?
Well, I think the thing there, like you say, that Diaz floats. It's not actually that he floats, and you can look at it in that way, yes. But the thing is that if you've got a fullback that is overlapping a lot and that is playing forward, where he needs the space to run into, and if you're the winger or the right attacker, like Diaz is for Morocco, then you have to drop inside to let him have that space to run into. Otherwise, you just overcrowded and he's not going to run there. He is going to run and stop because you're there. So you need to pull your man in, because if you, Diaz, you drift in, what happens is the center back that is with you has to drift in as well. And then it creates that vacuum for Hakimi to run into. Now, in terms of Nagida's stamina and going back and forth, this is why I said to you previously, or we discussed this in one of our previous sessions, that was one of the main reasons why Danley Yongwa was preferred to him, because Danley Yongwa appears to have more stamina, whereas he has, better attacking play. But the emphasis was more on, can you do that running back and forth? And that's also why I said there should have been, or maybe Pagu could consider shifting Nuhutulu to the left and then bringing in Nyamsi or someone else like Christopher Wu to play in that role that he is playing at the moment. But he stuck to his plans, he stuck to his team, and that is understandable because you do not fix what is not broken. So hopefully that will yield the fruits. But I'm very sure that if we can talk about this here, then a manager as qualified as Pagu will know that the only way to stop that right side is for Nagida to make sure that he plays his role. And I'm sure, because we have three in central midfield, one of them, Baliba, most likely, or Avom, could drift into the left-hand side, because the only time Hakimi can actually attack is if Cameroon is not attacking. So Nagida would need to be forward for Hakimi to be able to run without Nagida being with him. The question is whether Nagida can keep up with Hakimi's work rate. So running past him is different from him not being there at all. So we would look at it and see how they manage it, but that's the way it will be.
Another matchup that I'll be looking at is because you talked about that vacuum that Hakimi actually runs to. We have seen Morocco actually play with a lot of their back. Mazraoui started to the right. Now that Hakimi is fit, he's gone to the left. We saw a goal by Morocco against Comoros that came from that came from a left back. However, I know Mazraoui, he is not a lefter, so it wouldn't come naturally, those crosses. But how should Cameroon actually defend those vacuums? Because there are 4 to 5 events or occasions in different games where we have seen Morocco with those short crosses in the box. They actually plan to play that way. How can we actually defend? Because we saw an identical goal, that a similar goal from South Africa, because we are
Mm.
playing with 3 at the back, so there's no cover. There's no cover. There's no stopper in front of the central backs. But how can Cameroon actually cut those channels and make sure that those center forwards or El Kabir is actually isolated in this game?
Well, I think Cameroon plays with more midfielders than some of the opponents that Morocco has faced. And those goals that you talked about, Morocco scored them against Comoros, Morocco scored them against Zambia. And so those oppositions are not the same as Cameroon. Cameroon is more a tactically more mature team and a more experienced team. I think they would have watched those clips and they understand. Like I said, those goals were scored in areas where Morocco was able to outnumber. They were able to outnumber their opponents in those areas and play short passes and create the space, and players drifting out and creating space. So take, for example, the goal against Comoros by El Kabi, the overhead kick. So it was El Kabi who laid off the ball, and then he ran into the little space, and then Salahidin just struck a little cross over to him, and he scored. And the other ones were free kicks, more or less, dead ball situations. We spoke yesterday, True Lion, about the height comparison of Cameroon and Morocco. I was actually surprised that I did a research about it, and it's not very different. You know, the tallest player in Morocco's defense is Naif Aguet, 1 meter 90, and that is exactly the same as Koto.
Okay.
you know, So then we have No Tulu is the shortest of our defenders at 1 meter 78. So you got Hakimi at 181, Mazraoui 183, and Aguet 190. But when you look at the whole squad in general, Cameroon's average height is 1 meter 80. Morocco's is 1 meter 83. So we're talking about 0.3 centimeters difference. So I was actually surprised when I saw that, because I was worried about Morocco's height advantage against Cameroon. So that is nothing for me to worry about now going forward. And I think if anyone was thinking in those terms, then what I would be worried about more is that everybody stays with their marking players, or the players that they are meant to be marking, or the spaces that they're meant to be marking when they have those free kicks. Because Morocco has proven to be very good at them. 4 of their goals have come from that situation. So I'm very sure that that is something that Pagu would have looked at and considered in terms of Cameroon's play today.
So how do we get actually a guy like Mbuemo more productive? In my opinion, I think Mbuemo can do better if he has some quality passes. I've talked about the passes that he's actually getting. Most of the time, he's getting those passes either too wide out or deep. And if you see him too wide, maybe to the right, it means he's actually drifting and he has 2 people defending him. However, if you give him those passes like centrally, where he's maybe one-on-one, he can go right, he can go left. He's very, very elusive player when he's one-on-one. So how do we actually get him to those positions where he can actually carry danger to the opposition?
I think primarily for me, the issue with Mbuemo has been the quality of the passes to Mbuemo, and when the opportunities to pass into him have been missed at key times by his teammates. So in terms of what danger he brings, we all know he is a very potent player, that Mbuemo has pace, he has trickery, he has a very powerful shot in him. We haven't seen that in this tournament yet, and not because of lack of effort, it's because of the chance creation by his teammates. So I'm hoping that they would have spoken about that and that they can improve on that today. Speaking about that, the other way around, I'm hoping that we do not have any defensive lapses today. Those opportunities that we gave to other teams, if we give them to Morocco today, that's it. They will put them away. you know, unless the goalkeeper comes up with saves. I know that Epasi can do that, you know. So hopefully, just to summarize, hopefully Mbeumo gets better service today. And we know he can service other players better. And we hope that there will be no mistakes in terms of the defensive play. And if that is catered to, then I'm very sure that Cameroon would at least the very least take this into prolongation and test Morocco's resolve.
Yeah, there's something I saw on the net about refereeing, about Morocco actually contesting one of the Egyptian refs, the central refs, and that the ref was changed. I mean, did you catch a wave of that? How true are those things? Because sometimes
I don't buy stuff on social media. I don't care if the referee is Egyptian or if the referee is Algerian or whatever, or the referee is from Zimbabwe or whatever. Whatever referee it is, that referee will be under pressure today. And you need a referee who has experienced pressure. And there is no better place to go get referees who have experienced pressure than in the Maghreb, and also maybe in South Africa or Tanzania, because you need to be refereeing games that are pressure games, you know. So I don't care that the referee is from Egypt. It doesn't matter. He has to be. Every referee, like I said, True Lion, will be under pressure today from the Moroccan crowd. Even in the Premier League, anywhere in the world, once the crowd gets on the referee, those 50-50 decisions always go to the home team, or usually go to the home team, you know. So that is something to look out for. Samuel Eto'o spoke about it previously, that referees need to be careful in this competition. Exactly, you saw today, you know, that's a referee who was very strong in his previous games, the South African referee. But today, you know, for whatever reason, he failed to even check or speak to VAR or you know, so these things do happen. These things do happen, you know. I don't think we should start thinking about the referee at the moment. I think the players should concentrate on their game. I don't think the players are thinking about it anyway. This is all fan stuff. Fans talking about these things and the media talking about it, you know, creating sensationalism and, you know, trying to get their views and their ticks and their likes and whatever. You know, I don't think it's something that I pay attention to. No.
okay, so we're 5 minutes away. Just one last comment. I think my last comment actually goes. I saw the mistake made by the Malian goalkeeper. I mean, he had some great saves, but that mistake, you know, actually was the lone goal that actually Senegal scored today. So talking about mistakes, we know that these teams are actually good, but if you're giving them cheap chances, they will actually put it away. What do you have for your last?
Well, that's exactly what I was saying earlier, True Lion, is that our players, our defenders, our midfielders, everybody needs to be on their game, focus. You know, no mistakes at the back. Che Malone, for example, he made some mistakes against South Africa in the first half, came back solid. If he makes mistakes today against Morocco, Brahim Diaz will not forgive him. El Kabi will not forgive him. You know, I know that, like I said yesterday, Kabi is a player who is prone to missing chances, a lot of chances, because I watch Olympiacos a lot. So I'm not very worried about that, but I wouldn't give chances to Morocco like I gave them to Mozambique or to Gabon, because those chances will most likely, you give them two, they'll put one away. So don't give them any. I would say don't give them any. And that goes the same for Morocco. Morocco gave chances to other opponents and they did not take them. They gave chances to Comoros. They gave chances to Tanzania. Tanzania didn't take them. So if we get our own chances today, hopefully we put them away. But just to say that we had some chances against Mozambique and Kofane and Co did not put them away. So you just never know. You just never know. For me, King today, these guys, no cards, because the ref is on pressure. You get silly red card, you know. The odds are against Cameroon in terms of refereeing decision making today.
So what's your prediction?
Prediction, just like yesterday, I'm not shifting from it. It's either a draw or Cameroon win.
Okay, I'll go for 2-1.
But Morocco have the edge. Morocco have the edge. Forgetting about history, everything, Morocco are favorites. But I think Cameroon would play into that, and Cameroon would most likely go through. For me.
Okay, I'll go for 2-1.
It's a biased decision, but I'll stick with it.
I'll go for 2-1 Cameroon. So we are now. Do we come halftime or do we just do halftime?
See you at halftime.
Okay, see you guys.
I will be watching with a very keen eye with my Michael Powell.
All right, man.
Okay, brother.
All right.
See you.